She said, "You need to wow my friends. Their view matters the most." I answered, "I'll try my best." After she cheated, she attempted to turn them against me. In the end, they were so impressed that they all sided with me and even invited me to the friend trip she had been banned from. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Many of you still aren't subscribed, so if you like these stories, please hit that sub button. About 6 months ago, my 2-year girlfriend, Olivia, sat me down on our couch for what felt like a serious review. Her review focused on her friends. "Babe," she said in that serious, worried tone that meant I was in trouble. "You know I love you, but my friends are like my family. Their opinion of you matters the most. Right now, they think you're too quiet and hard to read. I'm a quiet guy, a software engineer, not the life of the party. I'm the one who makes sure the party's Wi-Fi works." I had met her friends a few times already, a close group of 6 people, 3 couples including us. There was Liam and his wife Maya, Chloe and her husband Ben, and then us. They were all outgoing, successful, and really into designer brands and fancy brunch spots. I didn't have much in common with them, but I was always polite. "You need to impress them," she continued. "Show them the man I fell for. The next few months are important for us. We have a lake house trip this summer, Chloe's birthday, and plenty of events. I need you to put in a real effort." I looked at her and saw just how important this was to her. Her social life was everything, and being accepted by this crew was like beating the final boss in our relationship. I wasn't excited about being put on probation, but I loved her and wanted her to be happy. So I said, "Okay, I'll do my best," and I meant it. For the next 6 months, I really worked at it. I didn't change who I was, but I did try to show them I was a decent, dependable guy, the kind of partner they could trust. I treated it like a project. Operation Impress the Friends. My first chance came during Liam and Maya's move to a new apartment. Olivia warned me that they were dreading the task. I took a Saturday off, went to their old place with coffee and donuts, and spent 8 hours helping move boxes and setting up furniture. Even Liam, who worked in finance and probably hadn't lifted a heavy object in years, was grateful. We even chatted about sports while struggling with a confusing piece of Swedish furniture. I left tired and sore, but I felt we had connected. Next up was Chloe's big 30th birthday party. Olivia had been stressing about finding the perfect gift. Chloe was famously hard to shop for. I remembered Chloe once mentioned that her childhood dog, a golden retriever named Sunny, had passed away and she never had a good painting of him. I found a local artist who painted pets, gathered some old photos of Sunny from Chloe's mom, and commissioned a tasteful oil painting. At the party, when Chloe unwrapped it, she burst into tears. She said it was the nicest gift she'd ever received, and Ben even shook my hand with real respect. All the while, I was just being myself, a guy who likes solving problems. Moving is a problem. Picking the perfect gift is a problem. I stepped in and fixed them. When we all had dinner together, I made sure to ask about their work, their lives, and I really listened to their answers. I wasn't trying to be the star. I just wanted to be a solid, reliable presence. I thought it was working. Olivia looked happy, and her friends started warming up to me. Liam even texted me for advice on his new smart home device, and Ben sent me funny articles. I felt like I'd passed the test and finally won their approval. Then last week, I learned the entire effort had been built on a lie. I came home early from work to surprise Olivia with dinner, only to find her in our bed with a man I'd never seen before. There was no yelling or screaming. The shock was so deep that all I did was turn around, leave the apartment, and check into a hotel. Almost immediately, she flooded me with calls and texts, full of apologies and excuses. The next day, we met for coffee. Her story was as tired as it was predictable. The guy was from her yoga class, and what happened had been going on for months, but it was just a meaningless fling. She cried, begged me, and insisted that the mistake was stupid and that I was the man she truly wanted. I listened with a blank expression. When she finished, I said, "It's over, Olivia. Pack your things." She was shocked. She never thought I would actually leave her, thinking my quiet nature meant I was weak, that I'd never let go of her world. That's when her tears turned to anger. "Fine," she spat. "But don't think for a second that my friends will stick by you. They're my friends, they're my family. If I tell them how you kicked me out over one little mistake, you'll end up alone." She was threatening me with social isolation, so sure was she that her friends, whom she had demanded I impress, would be utterly loyal to her. Little did she know, The work I had put in over the last 6 months was about to pay off in a way she never expected. Update 1. A week later. It's been a week since I left that coffee shop and officially ended my relationship with Olivia. She moved her things out of our apartment while I was at work, leaving nothing behind but her tea on the counter. The silence in my empty apartment is both a relief and a heavy reminder of what's happened. Almost immediately, her smear campaign began. I haven't spoken directly with any of her friends, but I can feel the cold shoulder. I was removed from the group chat we once used to plan outings. Maya and Chloe, who used to like my posts online, have gone quiet. It feels like I've been quietly and efficiently cast out. I know what she's been telling them. A friend of a friend mentioned that, according to her, I became distant and cold, emotionally unavailable, and that a drunken kiss with the yoga guy made me snap and kick her out without a second thought. She paints herself as the heartbroken victim while I'm the uncaring monster. It's a simple, emotional story designed to pull sympathy, and it's starting to get to me. Those people, whom I worked hard to know, now see me as the bad guy. All the goodwill I built seems to be crumbling, and I feel alone. But I know what truly happened, and I can only wait to see if the seeds of trust one planted will grow or simply wither under her lies. Update 2. 2 weeks later, something changed. That wall of silence began to break. It started with a text from Ben, Chloe's husband, simply writing, "Hey man, hope you're doing okay." It wasn't much, but it was the first contact I'd had from anyone in the group in 2 weeks. I replied, "Hanging in there, thanks for asking," and left it at that. A couple of days later, Liam called. He sounded uneasy. "Hey Matt, I know things are weird right now. Olivia's been telling us her side of things, and it doesn't add up," he said. I listened without interrupting. Then he continued, "Maya and I were talking. We both remember you helping move last Saturday. What you did was totally different from what she's described. This was the moment I'd been hoping for, but never expected." I said calmly, "Thanks for calling. If there's anything you want to know, I'm happy to explain." Liam asked, "So what really happened?" I laid out the facts plainly. I explained how I came home early, what I saw, and how our conversation at the coffee shop went. I said it wasn't just a drunken kiss. It was an ongoing affair that spanned months, and I also mentioned her attempt to turn them against me. There was a long pause. Finally, Liam said, "Wow, that makes a lot more sense than her story. I'm really sorry you went through that." That call felt like a breakthrough. The next day, Chloe sent me a text apologizing for being distant. She said Olivia had put everyone in a difficult position and asked me to meet for coffee. When we met, she explained that right after our breakup, Olivia had called an emergency meeting with her friends. She did a tearful, over-the-top performance that painted me as a cold-hearted jerk. At first, everyone believed her, but then they started comparing notes with each other. Chloe said, "We spent 6 months getting to know you, and your actions don't match the person Olivia is describing." Ben added, "The guy who surprised me with a thoughtful painting of my childhood dog isn't the same as someone who'd just throw his girlfriend out for one mistake." Everyone began to see that Olivia's story was falling apart under questioning. Her timeline didn't add up, and she became defensive. In the end, they chose to trust what they had seen for themselves rather than her dramatic version. Update 3. 3 weeks later, I received a game-changing text in a new group chat called Lakehouse Crew 2.0. The members were Liam, Maya, Ben, Chloe, and me. Olivia was noticeably not included. The first message from Liam read, "All right, everyone, the annual Lakehouse trip is in 3 weeks. We need a head count." My heart raced. This Lakehouse trip was the highlight of their year, a long-held tradition that Olivia had boasted about for months. Chloe replied, "Ben and I are in. Matt, can you join us that weekend?" I was stunned. They were inviting me and choosing me over her. Shortly after, Ben sent me a private message. "Hey man, just so you know, we had a group vote. Everyone agreed they want you there." When Olivia found out she wasn't invited, she lost it. She called everyone, screaming and crying, saying they were betraying her. But after her string of lies, no one really wanted to spend the weekend with her. They would rather hang out with a friend who helps move furniture and commissions thoughtful gifts. I went back to the group chat and, after taking a deep breath, texted, "I'd love to come. I'll bring the beer." The responses were instant, a flurry of thumbs-up emojis and cheerful messages. It was clear. I was in and she was out. The scales had finally tipped. Well, update 3 months later. I'm writing this on a lazy Sunday afternoon, feeling more at peace than I have in years. I went on that lake house trip, and it turned out to be one of the best weekends of my life. It wasn't awkward at all. We grilled, went kayaking, and gathered around a fire at night to share stories and laugh. I wasn't Olivia's quiet boyfriend anymore. I was simply Matt, their friend. As for Olivia, from everything I hear, the fallout has been disastrous. Being pushed out of the friend group that she had built her identity around was a huge blow. She lost more than just a boyfriend. She lost her whole social circle. The friends she once took for granted saw her true colors and decided they no longer wanted to be part of her life. The guy from her yoga class, Chad, is long gone, a mere symptom of her unhappiness that disappeared once the reality hit. The last I heard, Olivia moved to a new city for a fresh start, trying to rebuild a circle, but I doubt she's learned her lesson. People like her view relationships as a means to an end, a way to create a lifestyle, without realizing that the relationship itself is what really matters. I didn't need to shout or badmouth her to get my revenge. I simply stayed true to myself. The effort I put in to impress her friends wasn't a performance. It was simply me being who I always am, reliable, caring, and solid. When everything collapsed for her, my steady reputation remained. She once said that her friends' opinions meant everything. It turns out, they valued the real me far more than her exaggerated version. I impressed them without even trying, and in the end, that was the sweetest form of revenge.